I was watching something. I've told you about him before. FP Signifier. He had a video on. He was kind of, I guess, not revamping, but he was speaking about how he about his commentary on Kamala, and he played this video of a reporter. Or he explained about this video of a reporter who was knocking on doors in West Virginia, and he was trying to get across the point that even racists will vote in their own best interests. And they go to knock on the door. They ask the lady, who are you voting for? She yells out to her husband, who's in the other room, baby, who are we voting for? And his response was the nigger.
There you go.
So they voted for him, but he's still one of those, right?
Exactly.
God.
Exactly. But there's a long line of that happening and occurring. I do have to say though, and this one of the last things I want to get across, I want to jump into the mayoral race, New York City mayoral race too. But one of the things you make a good point about is just there's always going to be that conditioning again that white people have that I think we as a community have to understand that when you engage with somebody that's classifying themselves as white, you have to kind of be suspicious of their actions. And oftentimes that suspicion will be just, unfortunately.
How many minorities do you know who have had white friends, relationships with white people, who at a certain point during a disagreement got called a slur?
Of course. There you go.
I know I saw my mother was married to this dude for years. And at the end where it started to go sideways, they got into an argument, and my mother's not dark skinned by any scale, any imagination. She's tan, she's Puerto Rican, but she's not dark skinned. And the very first thing he did was call her a nigger with the ER at the end, bro. Hard ER.
Yeah. I cringe at that, but I know that happens a lot, and that's one of the things I do speak to.
I mean, I've had arguments with people who I don't want to say close to, I was cool with, where some racist shit will slip out, right?
Well,
but to your wife?
Of course. Of course.
Hold on. After they got divorced, he went and married a Dominican chick.
Of course.
Who was closer to what he called my mom than what my mom was.
Wow.
Because
funny guy right there.
They're racist, but they got a dark meat fetish.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say to you, is that oftentimes when you see white people, white women and white men in relationships with people that are non-white, ask yourself a question. Does that white person have black friends or non-white friends, period? Most of the time, the answer is no.
Yes,
so
I know what you mean.
So then you have to ask yourself, the next question is, why is that? What is that? In this book, Dr. Tommy J. Curry book, it's The Man Not, but he speaks about this sick kind of twisted fungibility, and fungibility meaningly like how white people and people that function like white people view non-white bodies like black bodies, and and they kind of utilize them like tools. So if a dude is muscular and built and all that other stuff, he's doing the heavy lifting, he's the muscular one and blah, blah, blah. And you see that caricature in like shows where they're teams, and specifically shows like A-Team. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and the black guy's always the big fucking brolicky one.
Yes, with no brains, but he's got the muscle.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So that's been going on for a long time. But then now with the women are seen as like kind of sexual objects with highly sexual and very and kind of like savagery kind of like sexuality. That's why they often say like you never had sex until you had sex with a black woman kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's that same twisted mentality, and that's why like and this is a whole thing with interracial relationships that I don't think people take into consideration, because we still don't understand racism as a whole and how it really functions. We're still trying to figure it out. So, but that's just
so. Now hold on. Let me ask you an honest question. Do you think there's no truth to the idea that sex with other races that are not your own is, I guess, different?
Sometimes I don't know, because to be honest with you, I won't put this out there. I would say it is what it is. I've Brazilian, Swedish, Irish, Chinese, German.
No, but you see, I think you're breaking it down too much. I think it's more.
I'm saying it's not that much of a difference. It's usually the personality of
yes. The personality is going to feed into it too.
That's the biggest thing that I've noticed. Like if this is the type of woman, and I'm just speaking from a man's perspective, it's the type of woman that she's just like, she's about it like that, bruh. Like you could be driving the car on the way home and she's like, I can't wait, pull over, you know, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying? You getting head in the car, you know what I'm saying? You get head in the car while you're driving, and that was white girls that have done that to me more than anything else.
But that's it's gonna sound mad racist. That's a white girl thing. That's a white girl thing.
I've had sisters do it too.
That doesn't mean that that only white girls do it. I'm just saying, but that head in the whip type shit is not. That's usually. Especially at least from my own experience, what is that called? Voyeurism, that public type sex, doing shit out where you might get caught. I've always come across that with white girls.
Yeah.
That's always excitement. Yeah, it's like, ooh, we're doing something wrong, which that I think is the fetish. If you really want to drill down to it, the fetish that white people have with dark-skinned people is that they still feel like they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, of course. It's
the illicit nature of the activity. It's not necessarily, it might not break down to he likes dark-skinned pussy more than he likes light-skinned pussy. He likes the danger that comes along with having the dark-skinned girlfriend, the fuck you to his parents, shit like that.
Oh yeah, it plays a major role, man. It plays a major role in their decision making, and I don't think sometimes they even realize it. But when it comes down to it, I think they definitely understand it, because what I've noticed, to be quite frank, is that when those arguments do occur, much like your mother, I've had the same thing happen to me, where the woman I was with started saying racist shit, and I was just like, oh, it's a wrap. It's over. Yeah. It's a wrap, because I can't go back after that. Mm-hmm. I could simply just tell her like, yo, this is not going to work out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I kept on telling her.